So May was kind of crazy. What's up guys, it's Millions and Millie Books here with my May wrap up. Let's just get into this. This is Phoebe. I got a new kitten and I can't even handle the cuteness. She's super hyper right now, but she's friendly. So if you hear random meowing or shuffling in the background, it's because of this little girl. And yes, as in Phoebe from Friends, I just wanted an excuse to sing Smelly Cat to somebody all the time. She's about the size of a Chipotle burrito. And no, I did not get a haircut. It's been crazy, but I still did get to read 7 books. One of them was during finals week, and then I read 6 of them in my first week of summer. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the books. First thing I picked up in the month of May is Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher? Yep, and Taryn Fisher. I picked this up because she put on Instagram, Colleen Hoover, that this was free. And I really enjoyed this. I've heard quite a few mixed reviews of it just because I think people thought that it was incomplete because it's a novella series. So the story is very short, but I was into it. I didn't expect to be as invested in the characters as I ended up being. This is a novella, I guess it's considered, about a girl named Charlie and a boy named Silas who have been best friends since childhood. And as they get older, they've fallen in love and have been dating for a while, but suddenly one day they just lose their memories and they don't remember anything about their lives, but they find each other, and in the sense that they've realized that both of them don't remember what's going on either. Kind of like a mystery. I think there's going to be 3 novellas, and I really enjoy it. I think it's really mysterious. I'm invested in the characters. I want to know what happens. I really want to know what's going on. So Colleen Hoover, do me a favor and get that 3rd novella out because I need it in my life. I picked up Never Never Part 2, and I think I liked the first part a little bit more, but I would still probably give this one 5 stars. I agree with the critiques that this maybe, I don't see why this couldn't have been, instead of 3 novellas, have it be just 1 novel. But I think it really builds a suspense, and I feel like I'm really invested with having to wait till the next parts of the story. I cannot wait for part 3, and I love Colleen Hoover. You want up on my lap? She's back. Nope. Okay. The next book I picked up is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews. I really like this book. A guy named Greg and his friend named Earl like to make crappy movies together, and somehow they get roped into making a movie for a girl at their school who has cancer. And it makes it sound like it'd be really depressing, but it was indeed very funny. I think the writing style of this was hysterical. I liked how it was very conversational. I thought Greg had a really fun voice. I liked how real this was. Really realistic to the situation. I don't feel like anything was romanticized, and I can't wait for the movie. One of the reasons I really like this book is my dad's from Pittsburgh, and this took place in Pittsburgh, so it's this place that I visited 2 or 3 times every summer in childhood. I just got all of the locations and I thought it was fun. That was just like a personal thing that made me like it. I probably give this 4 stars because I really liked it, but I didn't love it. I don't really have a reason for me not loving it. It was overall really good, and I think the movie's going to be really endearing and fun and quirky and hilarious, so I highly recommend. The next book, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I am one of the cajillion people who read this book this month, and I hopped on that bandwagon so quick, and I was so jealous of all the people getting in ARCs because I remember meeting Sarah in September and her talking about this, and I'm like, ooh, a new adult fantasy novel, that sounds interesting, and it was so good. I love Sarah J. Maas's books. There's literally not enough that I can say about this book. I kind of wanted to do a book chat on it because I loved it so much, but I feel like not only have a lot of people been doing book chats, but my whole thing would just be me squealing. I actually got to meet Sarah again earlier this month, and she's a gem. I love her so much. I will read anything that she writes. She's just so talented, and I loved this book. It is a fairy tale retelling of Beauty and the Beast, but Belle, or Feyre, is a huntress and the Beast is a hot fairy lord. And Feyre gets taken into the Fey lands and just shit goes down, and it's all action-packed and the writing is beautiful and there's so many ships to ship and so many sassy, amazing characters, and the dialogue and the plot is great. It's just really addicting. I read this in like 2 or 3 days, I think, and I hadn't picked up a long book in a while, and I just flew through this. I absolutely adored it, and I just need more Sarah J. Maas in my life. This book, so good. I can't wait for the sequel too, and I also can't wait for Queen of Shadows. Everything was fabulous about this, so if you haven't guessed already, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. The next novel I picked up is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. I had Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson on my TBR, right, like my WTF TBR, which I failed at. But Jenna picked this up, and she made me want to pick it up, and I loved it. I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is a contemporary novel about a girl named Amy. Her father has recently passed away, so her mom decides to move across country. Amy doesn't quite feel comfortable driving yet, so her mom's family friend is roped into driving across the country with her, and they take a few detours, and it's a lot of fun, lots of good character development. I really liked Morgan Matson's writing style, and I can't wait to read her other books because I've heard that they are even more emotional than this one. A lot of people's favorite is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson, which again, I will hopefully get to this summer. I put off reading it because I did want to read it during the summer because it seems like one of those things that it would just work better during the summer. But I picked this up and I really enjoyed it. The romance was so cute, but it didn't feel really insta-lovey. I really liked seeing not only the character development of Amy, but how both of these characters developed together. My favorite thing about this book though is the road trip aspect of it. It just made me want to go on one. I just want to get up and drive somewhere now. And Morgan Matson herself, I actually got to talk to her at Fandom Frenzy, and she was on my team for a game that we were playing, so we were like next to each other for a solid 2 hours, and it was awesome. I can't believe I haven't read her books until now, but she actually went on this road trip herself, and there's several like playlists and maps and receipts and stuff that she got during this road trip. So yes, if you want some summer fun and some awesome contemporary amazingness, I highly suggest picking this up, and I can't wait to read the rest of Morgan Matson's books. The next novel was a huge surprise to me. I picked up The Air by Kira Cass. I honestly didn't know how I was going to feel about this. I wasn't completely against this happening because if the readers wanted more, then she wrote more, and if you don't like it, you don't have to read it. So that's kind of how I'm saying. That's like, if you didn't like the one, or you were happy enough with the one that you don't want more, you don't have to complain and ruin it for everybody else. But that is another rant that I might do a video about in general. Maybe. But overall, I really enjoyed this. Like, I probably like this as much as The Selection. A lot of people have problems with Elite, which I do too, and then The One was kind of, it was pretty good, but we still had some problems with it overall as a community. Not saying that everybody hated it or everybody loved it, but this was a huge surprise. This, I don't want to spoil too much, but this follows America's daughter going through her selection process, and I thought this could have been an absolute train wreck if like her books just kept going down. But I think her writing style really improved. I still think Kira Cass's world building isn't her strongest aspect, but it was fun and light and fluffy. I like dresses and princes and all of that stuff, so this was just enjoyable. I don't know. I probably gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. I maybe gave it an extra 0.5 just for surprise factor, because the end of this, I really started to be invested in this. I didn't expect that. I was actually kind of emotional at the end, and I'm really excited to read the final book in the, it's 5 books pentalogy. That's probably not even a word, and Kitty wants up. Okay. I thought it was really cute, and my biggest praise for this book is that Edelyn, the main character, is not America. She was frustrating at times. Oh, what do you want? Okay. She was frustrating at times because I feel like Kira Cass characters kind of do have the same tendencies sometimes to make some dumb decisions. But I feel like the times that she did get really upset or overreacted about things were kind of situations that I would have felt the same way. I feel like I connected with Edelyn in a different way than I did with America, and whenever she would get mad at things, I looked at the situation and evaluated it, and I would be like, yes, I would be really upset there too. I thought the boys were interesting and had quirky personalities. Mini spoiler ahead, but I feel like everybody kind of knows this, but I loved seeing Maxon and America as parents and all of the other people who are characters in the selection as adults, which made me really excited. This is kind of random for the rest of Cassandra Clare's books. I shouldn't like this because it makes me excited for another series, but it does. I don't know, just seeing characters that we've, whether you really realize it or not, have become attached to through their stories at a different point in their life, I really liked. And if you have any doubts of whether you want to pick this up or not, I suggest just trying it because it was fun. I picked it up in a day and flew through it. Pleasantly surprised by this. Didn't hate it. And the final novel I picked up this month is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. This is probably a lot of people's favorite Colleen Hoover books. This is definitely on the higher level of new adult. It's a lot more risque than her other new adults because she has some new adults where the characters are like 18 and they aren't as sexy-timey, but they're still considered new adult because their characters do deal with a little bit more adult conflicts. This, the character was 23, I believe, and these characters were just at different points in their lives, which I really enjoyed reading about, actually. I thought that the aging up of the characters from what I typically read, I got to see these characters experience conflicts that YA-age characters can't do, so I really like this aspect of this book. I give this 4 stars. It's not my favorite Colleen Hoover book. I love the Slam trilogy, but I kind of didn't know how I was going to feel about it. This is about a girl who moves in with her brother, and the guy from across the hall is really hot. And that's a terrible synopsis right there. But through meeting this guy, she realizes that she doesn't have time for a relationship, and Miles, the guy, isn't emotionally ready for a relationship, so they become fuck buddies. And we just know from the synopsis that this is going to be an unhealthy relationship, but I don't feel like it was sugar-coated or glamorized. I was really worried about that going into this. And yes, there was a lot of sexy times because, again, the synopsis basically told you that there was going to be. Sorry if I'm at a different angle now, my camera stopped recording. But as I was saying, is I felt like that book did a really good job of being a Colleen Hoover book. I think that it was emotional and it did explore some very touching topics and it made you really feel for the characters. And another thing that I also said is I was kind of worried about the movie because it really wasn't a good teaser trailer. It didn't seem like it represented the book at all. It just kind of looked like it was a 50 Shades of Grey trailer, and when there was really so much more to the story. So we'll see how the movie is. I mean, the guy who's Miles is really hot, but I'm kind of scared of that. Maybe we'll see better trailers than the teaser trailer, hopefully. That was the last book I read. It was a really busy month. That's about it. I don't really have many like shows or movies to talk about. The Once Upon a Time season finale was amazing, so if anybody wants to fangirl about that, feel free to in the comments. Hopefully I'll be able to do more videos and read a little bit more throughout the summer because I'm going to have somewhat of a busy summer but a little bit more chill. It's going to be kind of a calm before the storm before I go away to school. Thank you so much for watching. This is Millions of Millie Books, and this was a really long and rambly wrap-up. I hope that I can edit it down a little bit. So I'm just going to say bye now. Bye! Bye!